You assess the political scene today, considering the emergence of General Buhari as the candidate of the APC and having a very erudite and highly cerebral candidate as his running mate, Professor Yemi Osinbajo?
Well, I think that, sorry, in the last analysis, what is going to matter is whether these parties, have programs that will meet in practical, material terms the expectations of Nigerians. I know Yemi very well. We've worked professionally together. I have not a single negative thing to say about him. He's a very competent fellow. I know that. But my own concern is that Nigerians have a range of expectations. None of these individuals are new to Nigerians. They have a pedigree and people know them both professionally and politically. So what seems to me to be more important is whether they have programs, specific programs, that will crystallize on the ground in a way that will meet the expectations of Nigerians. If you ask me, I will say that I have not seen any fundamental difference between the APC and the PDP. Now, my point is that we need to see some kind of difference in terms of whether the material conditions of Nigerians will improve in terms of whether there will be better education. We have 10.5 million children out of school. What will the APC, for instance, do differently from the PDP? We have seen commodity prices collapse all around us in the past 2-3 weeks or so, which means that our economy, which is dependent almost exclusively on oil, is now very manifestly vulnerable. What will the PDP do in a second term, and what will the APC do if they get into office to diversify the economy in a way that will make Nigeria a far better place than we are now? I have not, in very concrete, programmatic ways, seen specifically what the PDP wants to do in a second term and what the APC will do when they come into office. We know that since 1958, there has been a centralized control of regional community resources. What we call federalism is in fact, in practice, a unitary state. What will the APC, for instance, do in terms of implementing?
How would you say that what we call federalism is a unitary state?
Unitary state because we have, under a true federal state, what we ought to have is communities and regions and states having control over their resources and paying resource tax to the center. But what we've seen, in fact, is that there is a centralized control over regional resources. The Petroleum Act of 1969, for instance, which is 44 years old, makes it very clear that all petroleum resources found anywhere in the country belongs to the central government. 72% of the federation account comes from Niger Delta communities, Niger Delta states. 20% comes from the whole of the Southwest. 8% comes from the whole of the Southeast. Not a cent comes from the North. And yet, in terms of the distribution, in terms of actual revenue allocation, a lot of the resources are allocated on a monthly basis to non-oil producing states. Now, if
your words now,
yes,
it begins to raise issues that I'm thinking it's better you either don't raise it or you have the statistics.
But what I'm telling you are official
if you say if you say a lot, how long is a piece of string? If you say a lot of the resources are allocated to the north.
Yes, what I'm saying is that if you are going to be a party that has a slogan of change, what it means is that you will make sure that there will be true federalism. And true federalism means communities will have extensive control over their resources. That is what federalism means. We are not the first country to practice it. In the US, in South Africa, and elsewhere, we have that. So the point I'm making in short is not so much the mechanics of primaries and all that. They are good at the level of internal democracy, no question about that. But how can we make sure that in the final analysis, political action itself, social action itself, has material results in material difference in the quality of life of Nigerians? I'm yet to see that kind of debate happen. So what I'm saying in a sense is that we need to have this kind of dynamic and enlightened debate beyond individuals who are seeking political office. As a matter of fact, what we should be concerned about is what material difference will they make on the ground in the lives.
Let me
I have to come in now, especially because it's important that I should correct this record. I want to correct the record because as at the time we were discussing the outcome of the primary, for people who just joined us, it was not in particular on the emergence of our presidential candidate. He emerged free, fair, credible under a free, fair, credible primary in Abuja.
Thank you.
We're referring to the Lagos one, and I've just explained that. Two is that I'm also very surprised that we want to, insult intelligence of Nigerians here when we say that President General Muhammadu Buhari has less than 10 million. And I want to challenge you here now that General Buhari must publish his bank account in the last 6 months.
Which of the which of the candidates of PDP has ever done that?
I am challenging.
Don't challenge.
We are not. See, the thing is, the issue here is we are not playing. And indeed, I also want to come up with that issue of even introducing Professor Shembajo with due regards, a man of the reputable cerebral. When he was the Attorney General of Lagos State, we have so many obnoxious laws put in place and which really oppressed Lagosians. I will, of course.
No, name three.
I will, of course.
We don't want you to just drop words that you cannot corroborate. So it will not be allowed on this program because we're not a platform for that.
Do you want me to start?
So if you want to,
yes, of course.
If you have the facts, then you can say it.
Governor Bola Tinubu, that Professor Osinbajo was the Attorney General, we had this issue of the Lagos State local government come up. Now, the Lagos State local government was the creation of those local government areas was something that ought to be constitutional. Now, it didn't get to the last stage of the constitutional expectation. We had a sitting Attorney General, who is now the Vice President, who supported that they must continue to operate that local government. I mean, as powerful as President
local government or LCD.
They were created as local governments.
Changed to LCD, I remember.
Then it was when some eminent Lagosians went and begged President Obasanjo that they came back and they reverted to the issue of LCDA, and they still continued to operate that obnoxious law. It continues to be an obnoxious law.
You know what?
Two. Let me also say that under that administration, we had situations where the many uniform agencies came up in Lagos State, and people will be arrested on the streets and they will be put in Black Maria under the sun on the roads. We had an Attorney General that is being described as very cerebral. So how did he now position his being very cerebral? With due regards to him, also, we had a situation where even the judiciary, even as an Attorney General, the judiciary, because I practiced law very well before the last 3 years I came into politics.
People being harassed or arrested by the police becomes the responsibility of the Attorney General.
Of course, because he is ordinarily the custodian
of the law, but does he control what the police will do or not?
No, he can check them, and if not for the law that has been passed and by his own contributions or two will have been approved, the police or any other security agent will not have the guts.
In which state of the federation? Sorry, let me just take you up on this very quickly in one sentence. In which state of the federation have you ever seen any Attorney General say that he's fighting the police because of what they have done? Where? In Rivers State under PDP? Was the Attorney General able to checkmate?
That is not that should not be the relevant question. You can only come up with such questions to defeat my position if you are bringing up something that is obnoxious. You have not told me that in Delta this thing happened. The Attorney General.
You know what?
Okay, well we can move on from
John
there.
said something about issue-based
Yes, and they're talking about the issue. Now, on education, because he mentioned education.